So this is Steve, and I'm here with Thomas O'Brien, who is the conductor today at the Botanical Conservatory. He's giving some lectures and kind of informal, but talking a little bit about conducting and the trains and the history of trains in Fort Wayne. Thomas, how's it going today?
Going great. A lot of people interested in trains, but kids just love it. Mm-hmm. And I brought in several artifacts from the railroad just so the kids could see and feel and touch, and tell them some train stories about real people, real American heroes. 1,500 pieces of the Pennsylvania Railroad. In the regular artifacts, everything from lanterns, over 100 lanterns, to the poles that go along the track. I have the wigwag pole and the semi stands of the switch track, and even the small ones along the track. I also have an HO gauge set up, and it's down right now, but I have 113 engines. 700 freight cars, 30 passenger sets, 450 buildings, and enough track to go around Glenbrook. So I'd say that's somewhat substantial.
I would say so, yes. That's an admirable collection. You brought some of your artifacts with you today. I see a Casey Jones. Is that a song?
That's a song sheet. That's one of the old song sheets from Casey Jones. Mm-hmm. I tell the story along with the oiler about the life of Casey Jones and how he died.
And then on the other side you've got...
I've got a sledgehammer. I tell the story of John Henry, the steel driving man who worked for the Chesapeake and Ohio Railroad and outperformed a steel driving machine back in the 1800s. Mm-hmm. He died at the end at Big Bend Tunnel, and they buried him at the beginning of the tunnel, right at the mouth, along with a stone monument for him as well. Mm-hmm. And back here I have a track gauge. This is from the Pennsy. And it's a long story about this, but basically this is how tracks are laid today even. They use a track gauge. This one's old, probably from around 1917, made out of oak and cast iron. But track gauge today is 4 foot 8 1/2 inches. And it's an interesting story how that happened. But in short, American railroads had to have a standard. And they made it 4 foot 8 1/2 inches, and that was because, well, buggies were that size back in early America. And the first passenger cars were buggies on the B&O Railroad. Also, I have a lantern. I tell the story of Kate Sheely, who was an American heroine who saved the Midnight Express in Des Moines, Iowa. In a terrible storm, she crossed the bridge over the Des Moines River on her hands and knees, cut and bleeding and bruised. She made her way into the station, had the station master stop the Midnight Express, save everyone on board. Great story.
Railroads were also responsible for standard time, if I'm remembering correctly.
That is
kind of the driving force. And so are these your favorite stories out of the railroad lore, or do you have some other ones as well?
I have several stories out of it.
There's a rich history.
Some of my favorite because you have a couple guys who were heroes, a gal who was a heroine, a steel driving man who was a hero, and several people. Okay. They're people stories. People relate to people stories.
Mm-hmm. Sure do.
But it's also about the railroad. The railroads built America.
Mm-hmm. And Fort Wayne was a big railroad town at one time. Big railroad town. Yeah.
With the nickel plate, the Wabash, and the Pennsylvania, of course.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to add?
Well, they call model railroading the world's greatest hobby. and it is relaxing. It's very relaxing. I also like this end of it, the artifacts, because I get to tell stories. And I think that's a lost art anymore, telling stories, especially about railroad and railroad people.
Sure.
So that's why they call me Mr. Conductor.
Great. Well, Thomas, we appreciate your time.
Thank you.